What happens when you mix someone that loves to travel with a retro game hunter? You get me, Sal. I've been traveling and also hunting for games for over 5 years, so I thought, why not start filming it? I've had a ton of great scores in the past, so I guess you can say I'm just trying to chase that retro treasure. So join me on my travels as I visit flea markets, video game stores, and street vendors all over the world. This is Retro Finds Worldwide, Dominican Republic. Hey everyone, how's it going? We are in Dominican Republic. That is our stop for this episode, and we landed in Puerto Plata, my friend Steven and I, and we are going to take a bus to Santo Domingo. Early the next morning, we got right to it and hit the biggest flea market in the capital, Santo Domingo. Heard it was really crazy, so hope we get some good stuff, and we're gonna get right to it with the footage. So here we go.
Hey guys, so we're here at La Pulga in Santo Domingo. This is a crazy flea market. As you can see, they set up anywhere they can. That bridge behind me, it spans the whole bridge. So all underneath the bridge, all the way about, maybe I'd say a half a mile that way, is all flea market. More clothing and shoes than video game stuff, but there is a section for video games, so we're gonna go find it. And behind you, so up over there, there's also a flea market all along the Malecon, which is called, I guess it's kind of a boardwalk. Kind of like a boardwalk, so we're gonna try to span everything and see what we find. Sí. ¿Cuánto por el verde? La consola.
64. Tan bueno, lo que pasa es que yo vendo y tengo demasiado. Yo estoy dando 1.5 solo.
¿Puedo ver el verde?
Sí, lo puede ver.
So right away I'm looking at it and it looks pretty good. It's all right. It's missing the cover for the rumble pack, and it's missing the cover on the bottom there. So usually it's missing the top but not the bottom cover. So I decided to pass on it. He wanted $1,500, which is about $30. And since we just started, we're gonna skip on that one and maybe come back if we didn't pick anything up. But as you can see here, there's cars just park wherever they want. It's right under the bridge, the freeway. So it's really interesting how every country has their flea markets, and this one is pretty much the craziest one I've been to. So I'm gonna leave it so you can just hear the vibe here, the atmosphere. So I'm gonna just play the volume up, and I'll see you guys in a little bit when we get to the games. Crazy vibe here. It's really awesome, but at the same time it's really intimidating because you don't know what's going on, and you're not from this country, so you feel out of place. But it was pretty cool. It was really cool actually, and mostly clothes and shoes in this area, but there was a zone where there was all video games and electronics. So we're about to hit that right now. But as you can see, it's just craziness. People set up wherever they can. And everybody has a great deal, super cheap clothes, super cheap everything, food, and you know, it's the whole span of the freeway. So let's get to some games. All right, here we have some NES games, and I see Mario 3, Ice Climber, Tiny Toons, nothing too crazy, some beat up labels, some really busted up SNESs in the back. I asked for some prices, but she said the guy that does the prices wasn't there yet. He stepped out, so might come back to this one. But it's a start. This is a little more organized here.
¿Cuánto fue el Pokémon?
2.000. ¿Cuánto? 2.000.
¿Dos?
2.000. Juego, una cinta.
Not a bad price for the Pokemon N64, but I'm gonna keep looking. I see he has Urban Champion and Mystery Quest. I was actually missing those two. So I'm gonna grab those and waiting for the guy to give me some prices. I believe he told me a price of 600 for both. So I did grab those. That's about $6 each, not bad. And now I'm talking to the big dog, the owner, about the Pokemon. Still gave me the same price, but he said to stop by his store. He's there in the weekdays, so we're gonna do that probably in a few days. And here we keep going, and as you can see, this is in the back of the flea market, towards the back. Mostly Haitians, which is pretty interesting how the separation is here in this country. You know, I love visiting countries and, you know, getting in there with the culture, and even if there are differences like that, it's pretty cool experiencing that. So we're gonna keep going here. So far it's been only clothes and things like that. Over here I got stuck in what I thought was an aisle, but it was actually a clothing vendor. So I'm trying to get out of this right now. Super cheap clothing. You just have to really dig through it, especially people that live in this country. I guess that's what they do. They come to La Pulga and they look for some clothes.
¿Cuánto que tienen una cinta? ¿Cómo que ustedes nos ofrecen? Dígame, ¿qué es lo que ustedes quieren comprar? ¿Por qué ustedes no quieren comprar? ¿Qué es lo que ustedes quieren comprar? Dime. Porque ustedes no le dicen a uno, le dicen, mira, yo quiero esto.
¿El amarillo? ¿Cuánto?
¿Eh?
¿El amarillo? ¿El Mario?
Ese nada más.
Sí, sí.
Tú sacaste esa dos, ¿cuánto me van a dar por la vez? Venga, pero voy a vender. Voy a vender. No voy a dejar la primera.
So I ended up picking up Ice Climber and Super Mario 3 for $7 each, which is not bad. That was the guy I went to first time. And right next to him was this vendor. He had Super Nintendo wrapped up and a bunch of Super Nintendo games. Nothing too crazy, pretty common games. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how they have the guy in the back, you know, repairing and whatnot. I guess that's how they do it here. This guy had a Super Turrican for Super Nintendo. I ended up picking that up for $800, which is about $16. Over here, this guy had beat up labels on every single game, but he had Contra 3 Alien Wars, almost no label. It was like almost gone. What a waste. Over here we have some beat up N64 labels, and Nintendo, we got the usual suspects: Dick Tracy, you know, Gyromite, the wrestling. Nothing crazy here. And if you ever come to any other country to hunt for games, always make sure you know a little bit about labels and fake games, because this guy had Turtles in Time, Castlevania 4 I think it is, and Mega Man X all up in the front for Super Nintendo, all fake labels. They were very well made, but you can definitely tell they were fake. So you have to watch out for stuff like that. There's Mega Man X. And now we're here. This guy has some Nintendo games: Shinobi, Punch Out, Mario 3. I believe Punch Out and Mario 3, this guy grabbed them, so I moved on. Right next to him, there's some N64 stuff, pretty common stuff. You know, at least we're getting somewhere. Across from that guy was this vendor with some PS3, Xbox, Nothing that caught my eye. And then across from him was this guy with the gold N64. It was pretty beat up, so I passed on it. But you know, it's great having a lot of different vendors selling games, because then, you know, it'll make the trip worthwhile. Over here I have it was unmanned. I couldn't find the guy, but he had Star Fox 64 and Turok 2. Like I said, just getting into N64 stuff, so still learning. But this guy here, he had some games also. Nintendo, some common stuff. N64, common stuff. Sports titles for SNES. But he did have my favorite, the multi-carts, the Famicom multi-carts. So I was looking at those for a little bit. So 1.5 is 150. That's about $3 each. So I grabbed 2 of them. Some of them did look familiar from my Colombia trip, so I didn't want to take the chance to get a double. But I did grab the 2 that I put aside right there, and yeah, hopefully they work. Alright, so I grabbed the 3rd one. I grabbed the maroon one, which I think it's an 85 in 1, which I'm pretty excited about. So picked those 3 up for $400, which is, you know, not even $6. So now we're looking here. This guy has some Xbox, PS2, and I think he has a Wii in the back there, a red Wii. So I'm gonna ask him about it.
¿Cuánto por el Wii, el rojo? El Wii rojo. Yo te lo doy en 2,000 pesos.
You know, $40 for that red Wii, the Super Mario, new Super Mario version or whatever. Pretty good if I had the controller and a game, but it looked like it was just a console, so I'm gonna pass on that. Then we were just standing there, and all of a sudden, one of the guys from a previous vendor came over and told me he had some more stuff. So I guess they found out I was a buyer, so told everybody else about me.
Guy just lured us back saying he has some stuff, so let's go check it out.
So we go back to one of these vendors, and he pulls out a backpack and tells me to come with him back here, and he just starts pulling stuff out. Ooh, what can that be? Can that be a red zapper? Can that be the red GameCube controller? The red N64 controller? Can that be the red controller for the Wii we just saw? Who knows? You're gonna have to wait till next episode. But for now, let's recap what I found so far. So I got Urban Champion and Mystery Quest for $6 each. I got this clean label Super Mario 3 and the Ice Climber for $14, $7 each. Not bad at all. Super Turrican for Super Nintendo. Little bit of a label rip there for $18. And I got the 52 in 1. I got the Famicom 86 in 1. And then I got 110 in 1. All for $8, which is a pretty good buy. So that's it for now. Next episode, you're going to see the rest of Dominican Republic. And it gets good, ladies and gentlemen. You want to tune in next time. I'll see you soon. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching again, and don't forget, subscribe below.